A metal pipe smashes through bone, Lucy Bolton's skull caving under the brutal swing, her body crumpling into a warehouse's rotting debris. A financial analyst on the cusp of exposing a $250,000 corporate conspiracy. Her engagement dreams are snuffed out, her ring discarded in the dust. 3 men, cloaked in financial fraud, seal her fate, burying her in a decade-long grave of lies. 10 years later, in 2017, a wallet folder stuffed with gruesome photos, a USB drive, and torn remnants of Lucy's life appears beside a gynecologist's car, its ghastly secrets clawing open a cold case. Who dared unearth this horror, and why now? The evidence screams of a husband's monstrous betrayal, a mother's wrenching discovery, and a murder trial that shakes Port Haven's coastal soul. As forensic traces, matted hair, shredded fabric, a killer's watch, resurface, a chilling truth emerges. A colleague crushed her life to hide his greed. This isn't just murder, it's a corporate cover-up festering in domestic deceit. Will justice pierce the decade's darkness, or will the wallet's shadowy deliverer hold the final secret? One thing's certain, Lucy's shattered skull demands answers. A coastal fog blankets Port Haven, muffling the hum of distant ships. In the Eastview Medical Center parking lot, a worn leather wallet folder lies beside a car tire, its edges frayed like a relic washed ashore. Nicole Coker, a gynecologist fresh off a grueling shift, spots it as she heads to her vehicle, her breath clouding in the chill. She hesitates, tempted to ignore it, but a nagging curiosity pulls her closer. She grabs the folder, its weight heavy with secrets, and slips into her car, the fog pressing against the windows. Under the car's dim dome light, Nicole opens the folder, her hands unsteady. A USB flash drive, grainy photos, and a torn ID spill onto her lap. The ID bears the name Lucy Bolton, a financial analyst whose cold case vanished from headlines a decade ago. One photo stops her heart. A warehouse strewn with rubble, where a man's watch gleams beside a crumpled figure. It's Ryan Coker's watch, unmistakable after 13 years of marriage. Nicole's pulse races, the specter of domestic betrayal clawing at her. At home, Port Haven's harbor lights flicker through the haze. Nicole locks the folder in a kitchen cabinet, her mind reeling. Lucy's disappearance, tied to a $250,000 financial fraud, was a coastal city crime that faded into obscurity. The USB's images suggest a corporate conspiracy buried with her body in that warehouse. Who placed this folder by her car? And why now? The mystery gnaws. A vengeful colleague? A shadow from Ryan's past? Ryan's footsteps echo upstairs, his presence a looming threat. Outside, Ryan's silver Chevrolet Jeep sits crookedly in the driveway, its chrome glinting through the fog. Nicole recalls his recent late-night drives, his locked office, his evasive glances. The photo's warehouse scene, with its shattered debris, hints at a murder trial long delayed. She clutches the cabinet key, her resolve hardening. This folder, a forensic Pandora's box, could unravel her family. But the truth demands pursuit. Nicole tucks her son, Philip, into bed, his innocent eyes searching hers. She forces a smile, shielding him from the storm brewing. The coastal wind rattles the windows, carrying whispers of a decade-old crime. Ryan's shadow moves in the hall, his phone's glow a faint beacon. Nicole returns to the kitchen, staring at the locked cabinet. The folder's secrets pulse, a ticking bomb ready to detonate Port Haven's buried truths. She grips the key, knowing the next step could shatter everything. Rain lashes Port Haven's docks, the harbor's lights smearing across the night. Nicole Coker drives home from another shift, the wallet folder's weight haunting her thoughts. Hidden in her locked office desk, its contents, a USB flash drive, photos, Lucy Bolton's ID, have cracked open a decade-old cold case. Lucy, a financial analyst at Starbuck Construction, vanished after exposing a $250,000 financial fraud. Nicole's 13-year marriage to Ryan Coker teeters, the photo's warehouse scene branding him a killer. In the pre-dawn quiet, Nicole boots her laptop, the harbor's pulse faint outside. She searches Lucy's name, unearthing old articles. A whistleblower, engaged. Her corporate conspiracy complaint ignored. The case faded. A coastal tragedy lost to time. Nicole unlocks the folder, inserting the USB. A file, Warehouse 07, holds encrypted notes. RC, cleanup needed. RC, Ryan Coker? Her stomach twists, domestic betrayal cutting deep. Ryan's recent habits, cryptic calls, late drives in his silver Chevrolet Jeep, now scream guilt. Philip Coker, 12, shuffles into the kitchen, backpack slung low. "Did Dad commit a crime?" he asks, his voice trembling. Nicole's heart clenches, but she brushes his hair, masking her fear. "School buddy," she says, forcing calm. The folder's mysterious origin gnaws. Who left it by her car? A Starbucks insider? A ghost seeking justice? The coastal fog presses in, shrouding answers. Nicole drives Philip to school, glimpsing Ryan's Jeep near Starbuck Construction, its silver frame a taunt. Back home, she copies the USB files to a hidden drive, her hands steady despite the dread. The photos, a torn blouse, a watch, promise forensic evidence for a murder trial. She seals the folder in an unmarked envelope, her resolve ironclad. At a dockside mailbox, she drops it, the thud echoing like a gavel. Port Haven's secrets are now the police's burden. At Eastview Medical Center, the parking lot looms, its fog thicker where the folder appeared. Nicole's phone buzzes, Ryan's text. Working late. His words feel hollow, a mask for the coastal city crime he buried. Lucy's fiancé, a lawyer, once fought for answers. Nicole's evidence could revive his quest. The USB's images, etched in her mind, fuel her courage. As she steps into the hospital, the spot where the folder lay is empty, but its shadow lingers, a beacon of truth. The police will soon tear open her package, and Ryan's decade-long deception will unravel, unstoppable. A salty breeze cuts through Port Haven's docks, where gulls circle over rusted cranes. At the Port Haven Police Department, an unmarked envelope arrives, its contents a jolt to a decade-dormant cold case. Detectives Jared Walter and Sharon Benny tear it open, revealing a wallet folder stuffed with a USB flash drive, photos, and Lucy Bolton's torn ID. The images depict a warehouse, rubble-strewn, with a man's watch glinting, Ryan Coker's, a senior architect at Starbuck Construction. The folder, anonymously sent, reignites the coastal city crime of Lucy's 2007 disappearance, tied to a $250,000 financial fraud. Walter, a grizzled veteran, studies the USB's photos, his jaw tight. "This is no coincidence," he mutters, pointing to Ryan's watch beside a crumpled form. Benny, sharp and methodical, runs the ID. Lucy Bolton, a financial analyst whose corporate conspiracy allegations vanished with her. The folder's mysterious origin puzzles them. Who left it by an unknown car? A whistleblower? A regretful accomplice? They trace Ryan's silver Chevrolet Jeep, sold years ago to Jonathan Wiles, a businessman in Eastern Oregon. Wiles agrees to a forensic sweep, unaware of the domestic betrayal about to unravel. At Wiles's auto shop, the Jeep's cargo hold yields chilling clues, matted hair and a shredded blouse fragment. Forensic techs rush the samples to the lab, their faces grim. Walter and Benny pore over Starbuck Construction records, unearthing Ryan's role in a financial fraud scheme Lucy exposed. The photo's warehouse, a derelict site near the harbor, becomes their focus. "We need to dig," Benny says, her voice steady. The cold case, buried for a decade, pulses with new life, promising a murder trial that could shake Port Haven. The detectives stake out the warehouse, its rusted beams looming through the fog. They map the site, guided by the USB's images, which pinpoint Lucy's likely grave. The folder's anonymous sender remains a shadow, fueling speculation. Was it a Starbuck insider or someone closer to Ryan? Walter's radio crackles with lab results. The hair and blouse match Lucy's DNA, a forensic breakthrough tying Ryan to the coastal city crime. Benny grips her notepad, the weight of justice heavy. As dusk settles over the harbor, Walter and Benny prepare for excavation, their flashlights cutting through the mist. The warehouse's decay mirrors the corporate conspiracy that silenced Lucy. Ryan, oblivious at Starbucks offices, works late, his Jeep's secrets now in police hands. The folder's cryptic placement lingers, a puzzle driving the investigation. Port Haven's tides churn, whispering of a truth buried too long, as the detectives stand poised to unearth a decade-old crime. Waves crash against Port Haven's rocky shore, their roar echoing through a derelict warehouse. Inside, police floodlights blaze, illuminating rubble where Lucy Bolton's body may lie. Detectives Jared Walter and Sharon Benny oversee a forensic team, their excavation guided by the wallet folder's haunting photos. The 2007 cold case, sparked by an anonymous tip, inches toward a murder trial. The USB's images, a man's watch, a torn blouse, point to Ryan Coker, whose financial fraud Lucy exposed at Starbuck Construction, a $250,000 scheme buried with her. Shovels bite into debris, unearthing a shallow grave. A skeletal hand emerges, clutching a skirt fragment, its threads brittle. Walter kneels, his face taut. "It's her," he says, voice low. The remains, scarred by cranial trauma from a metal pipe, confirm Lucy's warehouse murder. Benny catalogs the evidence, her hands steady. The coastal city crime, dormant for a decade, now demands justice. The folder's mysterious origin, left by Nicole Coker's car, gnaws at them. Who risked exposing this corporate conspiracy? A new lead surfaces. Thomas Bassey, a Starbucks surveyor and Ryan's accomplice, died in a boating accident. His diary, recovered from his estate, chills Benny. "She was smart-mouthed, but we made her pay for it." The confession implicates Ryan and Jamie Buckner, a building engineer. Walter tracks Buckner to a Port Haven apartment, his knock unanswered. Lucy's fiancé, a lawyer, arrives at the station, offering Starbucks fraudulent contracts that bolster the case. The fiancé's voice cracks as he recounts Lucy's engagement, her fight against financial fraud cut short. "She deserved better," he says, handing over documents. Benny cross-references them, linking Ryan's team to the $250,000 scam. The warehouse evidence, DNA, blouse, skirt, builds a forensic fortress. Walter's phone buzzes. Bucknor's been spotted at the docks. The detectives race out, the harbor's fog swallowing their car. The corporate conspiracy's threads unravel, but the folder's anonymous sender remains a shadow. At the docks, Buckner's silhouette vanishes into the mist, a fugitive from justice. Walter curses, the coastal wind stinging his face. The excavation's findings flood Port Haven's news, whispers of a coastal city crime spreading. Ryan, still at Starbucks, types reports, unaware his accomplice's secrets are surfacing. The folder's cryptic placement drives Benny's resolve. Whoever sent it knew the truth. As the tide rises, Port Haven braces for a reckoning, the warehouse's bones whispering of a trial to come. A coastal storm brews over Port Haven, thunder rumbling as waves batter the harbor. Inside the Port Haven Police Department, Jamie Buckner, a building engineer at Starbuck Construction, sits in an interrogation room, his hands trembling. Detectives Jared Walter and Sharon Benny lean in, the wallet folder's photos, a man's watch, a torn blouse, spread before him. The 2007 warehouse murder of Lucy Bolton, a cold case revived by an anonymous tip, nears its breaking point. Bucknor, implicated by Thomas Bassey's diary, cracks under pressure. "I didn't kill her," Bucknor stammers, sweat beading on his brow. Ryan Coker swung the pipe. "I just helped hide her." His confession unveils the coastal city crime. Ryan, desperate to conceal a $250,000 financial fraud, lured Lucy to the warehouse, crushing her skull to silence her corporate conspiracy allegations. Bucknor and Bassey buried her in rubble, keeping the folder as insurance. Walter's eyes narrow. "You're looking at 20 years?" he says. Bucknor nods, trading testimony for a plea, his words a step toward a murder trial. The detectives pivot to Ryan Coker, hauling him from Starbuck Construction's sleek offices. In a stark interrogation room, Ryan, his tie loosened, faces the USB's damning photos, his watch, Lucy's blouse, the warehouse grave. Forensic evidence from his silver Chevrolet Jeep, hair, fabric, tightens the noose. Benny slams down the lab report, DNA matching Lucy. "It's over, Ryan," she says. Ryan's defiance crumbles, his voice hollow. "She was going to the feds. I panicked. One swing." The admission, a decade late, seals his role in the corporate conspiracy. Nicole Coker at Eastview Medical Center feels the storm's weight, unaware of Ryan's confession. Her anonymous mailing of the folder, driven by domestic betrayal, has unraveled her husband's life. She scrubs for surgery, the hospital's hum drowned by memories of the folder's mysterious origin. Who left it by her car? A Starbuck whistleblower, a grieving ally of Lucy's fiancé. The coastal fog presses against the windows, mirroring her turmoil. Philip's innocent face flashes in her mind, their family fracturing under the truth. Port Haven's docks churn under the storm, news of Ryan's arrest spreading. Walter and Benny compile Buckner's statement, the forensic evidence a fortress for the prosecution. Lucy's fiancé, a lawyer, calls, his voice steady with resolve. "I'm ready to testify," he says, his contracts exposing Starbucks fraud. The folder's cryptic placement lingers, a puzzle fueling the case. Ryan, now in cuffs, stares at the interrogation room's wall, his decade-long deception exposed, as the harbor's thunder echoes a coming reckoning. Seagulls scream over Port Haven's harbor, where fishing boats sway under a gray dawn. The town buzzes with whispers of the warehouse murder, Ryan Coker's arrest igniting headlines. At the Port Haven Police Department, detectives Gerard Walter and Sharon Benny build their case for a murder trial. The wallet folder's evidence, USB photos, Lucy Bolton's ID, forensic traces, stacked like a house of cards. The 2007 cold case, sparked by an anonymous tip, now threatens to topple Starbuck Construction's corporate conspiracy, a $250,000 financial fraud Lucy died exposing. Nicole Coker, at home, grips a coffee mug, the weight of domestic betrayal crushing her. She prepares to testify about finding the folder, her 13-year marriage to Ryan, a casualty of his coastal city crime. The hospital parking lot where the folder appeared haunts her. Who placed it there, knowing her car? A Starbuck insider or Lucy's fiancé seeking justice? She avoids Ryan's calls from jail, his voice a ghost she can't face. Philip, eating cereal, senses her strain but stays quiet, his world shifting. At the station, Lucy's fiancé, a lawyer, delivers a stack of Starbuck contracts, his eyes hollow. "Lucy found their fraud," he says, voice tight. "They buried her for it." The documents detail Ryan's $250,000 scam, with Jamie Buckner and Thomas Bassey as accomplices. Benny cross-references the USB's encrypted files, matching them to the contracts. Walter nods, the forensic evidence, DNA, blouse, Ryan's watch, bolstering their case. Buckner's plea deal, trading 20 years for testimony, cements the prosecution's strategy. Port Haven's courthouse looms, its stone facade weathered by coastal winds. Nicole meets the prosecutor, her testimony about the folder's discovery pivotal. "I didn't know what I was starting," she admits, her voice steady despite the pain. The folder's mysterious origin fuels media speculation. A whistleblower? A vigilante? Walter and Benny chase leads on its sender, but the trail is cold, the harbor's fog hiding answers. Ryan, in a holding cell, pleads not guilty, his lawyer spinning a defense that crumbles under the evidence. The town's pulse quickens, news vans lining the docks. Nicole drives past the warehouse, its rusted gates a grim reminder of Lucy's fate. The coastal city crime has fractured Port Haven, exposing greed and betrayal. As Nicole parks at home, a courthouse summons arrives, her testimony days away. The folder's cryptic delivery lingers, a shadow over the trial. Ryan's fate hangs in the balance, but the truth's full weight is yet to fall. Port Haven's tides carrying the promise of justice. A coastal wind howls through Port Haven, rattling the courthouse windows, where a packed gallery awaits the trial of Ryan Coker. The 2007 warehouse murder of Lucy Bolton, a financial analyst who exposed a $250,000 financial fraud, has gripped the town, its cold case revived by a mysterious wallet folder. Inside the courtroom, Nicole Coker grips the witness stand, her voice steady as she recounts finding the folder, USB flash drive, photos, Lucy's ID, by her car at Eastview Medical Center. The revelation of her husband's domestic betrayal draws gasps, the coastal city crime laid bare. Prosecutors unveil the folder's forensic evidence, photos of Ryan's watch beside Lucy's body, DNA from hair, and a torn blouse in his silver Chevrolet Jeep. Jamie Buckner, a Starbuck construction engineer, takes the stand, his plea deal securing 20 years. Ryan swung the pipe, he says, voice low. We buried her to hide the fraud. His testimony paints a corporate conspiracy, Ryan's desperation to silence Lucy's allegations, sealing her fate. The gallery stirs, Port Haven's faith in Starbuck construction crumbling. Lucy's fiancé, a lawyer, testifies, his words cutting through the room. She fought for truth, he says, presenting Starbucks fraudulent contracts that fueled the $250,000 scam. The documents, cross-referenced with the USB's encrypted files, bury Ryan's defense. Detectives Gerard Walter and Sharon Benny watch from the back, their investigations wait now in the jury's hands. Ryan, in a tailored suit, stares ahead, his not guilty plea a fading shield against the mounting evidence. The prosecutor's closing argument ignites the room, detailing Ryan's calculated coastal city crime. One swing of a metal pipe ended Lucy's life, she declares, holding up the warehouse photo. The jury deliberates, Port Haven's docks buzzing with news vans. Nicole, leaving the stand, avoids Ryan's gaze, her testimony a knife through their 13-year marriage. The folder's mysterious origin, who left it by her car, hovers, a shadow over the murder trial, unanswered but pivotal. Hours later, the verdict lands like a gavel's crack, guilty of second-degree murder, conspiracy, and evidence destruction. Ryan receives 35 years, parole after 30. Buckner's 20 years stand firm. The courtroom exhales, justice served for Lucy's warehouse murder. Nicole slips out, the coastal fog swallowing her, a summons to finalize her divorce burning in her pocket. Port Haven's truth is exposed, but the folder's enigma lingers, promising more secrets beneath the tide. Dawn breaks over Port Haven's harbor, painting the docks in amber hues. The town reels from Ryan Coker's conviction, the 2007 warehouse murder of Lucy Bolton, a wound now cauterized. Nicole Coker packs boxes in her home, her divorce from Ryan finalized, the sting of domestic betrayal driving her to a new life. With Philip, her son, she prepares to relocate to New Zealand, escaping the coastal city crime that shattered their world. Philip, eating toast, looks up. It all makes sense now, he says, his voice soft but certain, the truth no longer a shadow. At the warehouse, a rusted gate creaks as Lucy's fiancé unveils a memorial plaque. She fought for truth and paid the ultimate price. The crowd, including detectives Gerard Walter and Sharon Benny, bows their heads, honoring the financial analyst who exposed Starbuck Construction's $250,000 financial fraud. The cold case, closed in 2019, leaves a lingering puzzle, the wallet folder's mysterious origin. Who placed it by Nicole's car, sparking the murder trial? A Starbuck whistleblower, a grieving ally, or an unknown avenger? Port Haven whispers theories, the fog hiding answers. Walter and Benny return to the station, their desks piled with Starbucks fraudulent contracts. The corporate conspiracy's roots run deep, hinting at more crimes buried in Port Haven's underbelly. Benny flips through the USB's files, her eyes narrowing at a new lead, a coded reference to another Starbuck project. This isn't over, she mutters, the coastal wind carrying a warning. The folder's forensic evidence, photos, DNA, blouse, sealed Ryan's fate, but its sender remains a ghost. Nicole and Philip board a ferry, Port Haven's skyline fading behind them. The harbor's waves churn, mirroring Nicole's resolve to rebuild. She clutches a photo of Philip, her anchor against the coastal city crime scars. Ryan, in a prison cell, stares at a blank wall, his 35-year sentence a testament to Lucy's truth. Bucknor, serving 20 years, writes a letter, his words unmailed. The warehouse stands silent, its memorial a beacon for justice. As the ferry cuts through the sea, Port Haven's fog lingers, cloaking the folder's enigma. The town's docks hum with life, but the corporate conspiracy's echoes persist, a new case simmering in the detective's files. Nicole gazes at the horizon, New Zealand's promise ahead, unaware that Port Haven's secrets may yet call her back, the truth's tide never fully stilled. Like, subscribe, and turn on the bell, because every crime has a shadow, and every shadow deserves a light. Dive into our playlists and uncover the stories the world tried to forget.